ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोर्श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधाकान्ता नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेषु भिग्गस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदय आदि कवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, chapter 22, verse number 37. And these are instructions of the Kumaras to King Prithu. Kumaras, they appeared in the assembly of Prithu Maharaj, and King Prithu asked them how he can attain welfare, being in the job as a king or living in the family life. So Kumaras, Sanat Kumara, the eldest of the four brothers, he spoke and he explained to him how Prithu himself is a perfect being because he is a devotee, and as we know from the previous chapter, he was blessed by the Lord to have devotion. And then they spoke about bhakti, Gyan Mishra Bhakti, Karma Mishra Bhakti, pure devotion and so on. And they concluded that bhakti is the supreme goal of life, and one becomes completely purified by practice of bhakti. And in the last few verses he spoke about if one is not devoted, then what happens. So there was a whole psychological explanation, how the mind functions, how the mind works of a common person, and how we see things because of our senses being influenced by sense objects. So devotees or transcendentalists, they see the world as a manifestation of Lord and His energy, and materialistic people, they see it as object of their enjoyment. So he said that when one becomes attached to sense objects, then the mind is pulled by the senses, and then when mind is pulled, and the intelligence follows it. When intelligence follows, one loses the discrimination. When one loses discrimination, one's memory is lost. When memory is lost, then knowledge is lost. When knowledge is lost, one becomes an animal. It takes birth as a plant. Because there is no difference then between human being and animal. So he says this is the biggest loss if one loses oneself. Because as a human being, this is the chance to realize oneself. So he says that all these manifestations which is happening from Brahma onwards, this is all temporary because it is influenced by time. And if one is absorbed only in these sense objects, then one loses one's own self. So although dharma, artha, kama and moksha are described as the four goals, he said that the moksha is the real goal. And now in the next few verses he speaks more like Gyan Misra type of bhakti. So he says in this verse 37, he says, Tattvam narendra jagatam tatastvasham cha dehendriya sudhishnatma bhiravritanam yakshetragya vittapatya hide vishwagavihi pratyakshakasti bhagavanstam avehi sosmi. He said that you, O king, should know that it is Lord Bhagavan who is manifest in all the objects here, being covered by body, senses, life, air, intelligence and ego. All these living beings, movable and immovable, these are all under the control of the Lord who is sitting in the heart, and He is the one who is manifest in all these things. And therefore you know this to be as so asmi, I am that. So there is one ashram here, it is called Soham ashram. You know this? Soham ashram. So this is what it is saying, so asmi. Soham means I am that. And that's what it says, that you should know that I am that. Everything is manifestation of Bhagavan because there is only one Tattva. So we are also that only. There are no two things. Neha nanasti kinchana. Sarvam khalu idam Brahma. All this which you see is only Brahman. And that's what he's saying, that Bhagavan stam avehi, know that to be Bhagavan. Pratyak chakasti. Pratyak means the inner being. And Vishwagavi, he is the one who is manifest. Kshetra vittapataya hriday, as Paramatma himself. Being covered by body, mind, senses, and existing as movable and immovable. So this is not different from us, or we are not different from him. So Vishwanath Chakravarti says, such a keval moksho bhakter guna bhavepi nirbhed brahma jnana siddhaya syat itya. Because earlier he is talking about moksha, and because Kumaras, they are jnanis, they are stressing a lot on moksha. So he says that this keval moksha, this liberation, is possible if bhakti is made secondary. moksha is not possible without bhakti. So if bhakti is primary, then one is a devotee, and if it is made secondary, then one can get moksha. So therefore it says bhaktir guna bhaveti nirbhed brahma jnana siddhaya syat. So here he says that if bhakti this is not actually secondary, guna bhaveti, then nirbhed brahma jnana siddhaya, one can get moksha by nirbhed brahma jnana, which means trying to meditate as one with Brahman. There are various types of mukti. There is Sahaja mukti, Sarupya, Salupya, Sarasti, Samipya, and there is also mukti, just this nirbhed brahma jnana. Sahaja is also of two types, Brahma Sahaja and Bhagavad Sahaja. So here he is stressing of oneness with Brahman. Tat tasmat jagtam jangamanam tasthusam sthavranam cha dehindriya pran buddhi ahinkarai avritanam hridhi yaschakasti prakastetam paramatmanam avehi janihi. That one who is illuminated in the heart of all beings, whether they are movable or immovable, being covered by the body, senses, life, air, intelligence and ahankara, then know them to be Paramatma. And then he gives the way of meditation, Gyan Prakaramaha So Asmi iti. And then this Nirbhed Gyan is that I am that. Bhanu Kiranasya api Bhanuttvamiva Suddha Paramatma Kiranoham Paramatma eva natu Maya iti. So just as the rays of sun are also the sun, because they have the quality of sun, in the same way I am a pure ray of Paramatma, and therefore I am also Paramatma and not Maya. So when it is said that I am Brahmasmi, the idea here is not that I am Brahman and there is no more Brahman besides me. It means that I am not material being, I am not the body. And he is to distinguish oneself from the physical body, because we are very intensely identifying with our mind and body. So this Tattvamasi Svetketu, this famous instruction in the Upanishad, Aham Brahmasmi, or as it is said here, So Asmi, is not that I am completely Brahman. I am part of Brahman, I am ray of Brahman or Paramatma. But the idea is not to think oneself as the physical body. That's why I said that it is the covering only. So asti iti pathe saeko asti nanyati artha. There is another reading here that instead of so asmi, so asti means that it is, which means that there is only one reality manifest here. Nanu jiva hridi chakasti tatraha. So one says that why you say that there is Paramatma in the heart? In the heart there is the jiva, the individual living being. So for that he says Vishwak sarvato bhavena avihi praktam eva kshetravidam jivam tapati niyamayati iti kshetravid tapas tasya bhavas tattataya antaryami rupena ityartha. So he says yes, this jiva is there, but along with jiva there is the controller of that jiva. And for that the word used here is kshetravit taptaya. That one who knows the kshetra, that is the kshetravid, that is the jiva, because there kshetragyam chapi mam vidya sarv kshetra subharta. Krishna says that there is the jiva and the Lord is also the kshetragya, and that's what is called here as kshetravit tapa, the controller. Kidrisham chakasti pratyak pratiloma. And how does he exist? So that is pratyak. Pratyak means inwardly, not externally. not like the objects. The objects outside are called parak because they can be sensed through the senses, and the one inside is called pratyak. So this is how one can meditate on the objects outside, and they are all manifestation of Paramatma, and it is Paramatma only who is manifest in everyone, and we are also part of him. Yasmin nidam sadasadatmataya vibhati maya vivek vidhuti sajiva hi buddhihi tam nityamukta parishuddha vibuddha tattvam pratyudha karma kalila prakritim prapadye. So he says that I surrender or I take shelter of that Nitya Mukta Parishuddha Vibuddha Tattva, that absolute reality who is ever free, pure and fully conscious, and Pratyudha Karma Kalila Prakriti, who is covered by the karma, and Yasmin Idam Sadasadatmataya Vibhati. It is in him that all this material world is manifest as cause and effect. So there is a cause and effect relationship. But he is the Atma of this. Sadasad Atmataya Vibhati. Beyond the cause and effect is the Lord who is the cause of ultimate, or who is the ultimate cause, the cause of all causes. And Maya Vivek Vidhuti Saji Vahi Buddhi. So this is Maya which is manifest inside him. And Vivek Vidhuti, it is the one which takes away the Viveka of the living entities. So when one gets the Viveka or discrimination, then Maya is dispelled. Just as when you see the snake in the rope, in the darkness, but when you throw the light, then you see the rope and not the snake. So this is called Vivek Vidhuti. Maya is called here, which is dispelled by the discrimination. And Sraji Vahi Buddhi. Sraji means garland. So sometimes say that Rajju snake here, it is said that there may be a garland lying in the darkness, and we may confuse this for snake. So in the same way, in this material world, everything is manifest as cause and effect. But Lord, He is beyond all this. Pratyudha karma kalila prakritim. This, everybody in the material world is under the influence of karma, which is called here as kalila or impurity. But he is Nitya Mukta Parishuddha Vimutta. So we take shelter of that Lord. Sthavar Jangamadinam Hridi Chakasti Tyuktestesham Prithak Sattvam Tat Sambandhad Ishwarasyapi Malinyam Prashaktam Nirakurvam Pranamati. In the previous verse it was said that Lord is situated in the heart of all beings, movable and immovable. So that means that living beings are separate from Him. And it was also said that body, senses, etc. are covering. So that means He also has a relationship with them. And thus is it that Lord is also influenced by the Maya. So in this verse that is refuted, that it is not true. Yasmin idam vishvam sadasadatmataya utkishta nikrishta bhavina karya karma bhavina vastitam Maya vibhati. That Maya is manifest as this universe in the form of cause and effect or as higher and lower beings in him. Mayatva hetu vivekenaiva vidhutir nirakritir yasya tat. So this is Maya because it is dispelled by Viveka or discrimination. Vivekaschayam, and what is the discrimination? Visvasya mayikatvat mayatvena mayasya paramatmano bahiranga shaktitvat jivasya cha tathastha shaktitvat shakti shaktimator bheda bhava mananat nirbhed atma jnanam eva. So if we understand that this universe is Mayik and Maya belongs to Paramatma, it is his external potency, and Jiva is the Tatastha Shakti, the intermediate potency, and there is no difference between energy and energetic. So there is only Nirbheda Atma Jnana, that there is only one reality as energy and energetic. So it is he only who is manifest, because Maya is also his energy. Therefore the universe is also his energy, and the living entities are also his energy. And because everything is energy, and he is energetic, and there is no difference between energy and energetic, so there is only one reality. So this is the Vivek. Sraji ahir buddhir va iti va shabdena vivartavadinam vivartavadena va nirbhed atma jnana siddhir iti parmatam cha darshita. So to mistake the garland for snake, and that is the opinion of Vivartavad. This philosophy of Shankaracharya is called Vivartavad, because they say that this world is not real, it is only an appearance. Vivarta means just an appearance, it doesn't have factual reality behind it. Just as when you take a rope or a garland for snake, then snake is really not there. Because according to them, reality is that which exists in past, present and future. So snake is not existing all the time. If you throw light on the rope or the garland, then there is no snake there. But snake cannot be denied completely, because you do see it. So therefore they say that this is just an appearance by Maya. It is Maya who creates the snake. But that appearance is non-different from Brahman. Because that adhisthana for that snake, the substratum for the snake is rope. In the same way, the substratum for this world is Brahman. And that's why the Upanishad says Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahma. It's only Brahman. Because even when you are seeing the snake, that snake is also rope. It's only in the rope that you see it. The adhisthana is rope. And appearance is not different from the adhisthana, right?
Appearance is not different from?
The adhisthana. So when you have adhyas of one unto other, then it is the adhisthana which is real, and it is only adhisthana which appears like that. It is only the rope which appears as snake, because rope is the only reality. So the reality is Brahman, because Brahman is Sat. Sat is that which exists in past, present and future. So if you see all these objects, what is common in them is Sat. Because you always say, table is Sat. This is table, there is Ij after that. This is chair, this is you. So this Ij That is what is called asti. That is what has satta. So age is common in everything. Table can change, but age will remain. If you break the table into pieces, then still you say that this is the broken table. Or if you burn it, then you have the acid, then you say this is the ash. So age is everywhere, and that is the form of Brahman. And it is in that everything is appearing. So all these forms and names, they are just appearance. There is one book by Shankaracharya, it is called Drishya Vivek. You know this?
I've read it. I've heard of it.
So in that he says, Asti Bhati Priyam Rupam, Asti Bhati Priyam Nam Rupati Panchakam. Then there are 5 things you see in this world. Asti, Bhati, Priya, Nam and Rup. There is existence of things, Asti. There is knowledge of objects. And there is Priyata, liking, I like this. And there is name and there is form. So Adya Traya Brahma Rupam, Maya Rupam, Tatodvaya. So name and form is the Maya, and Asti, Bhati and Priya, that is Brahma. So all these name and forms, they are just the appearance, and they are manifestation of Maya. They can change, they don't have real substance in them. What is substance is Asti, Bhati and Priya. How do you like that?
I like that, yeah. That's Satyanarayana. Asti, Sat, Bhati, Chit, Priya, Ananda.
Ananda is Priya. So Satchidananda is the reality, name, form, the appearance. And therefore Brahman is no name, no form. It's only Sat, Chit and Ananda. So this is what he is saying here. This is called Vivartavad. Because ultimately what remains is Brahman. Name and form, they go away like you dream. So you see name and you see forms. Then you wake up, there is no name, there is no form. But you are there, because they were actually manifest in you. You are the basis. Right? Yes, no? Come on. Give chance to Vivartavad.
So Babaji, let's take the example of tableness. If you, tableness is that tableness is all, like a table is always a table.
No,
right? Whether you use it as a bed or a...
It is not always a table. Before it was wood. Then you cut it into pieces and you joined and then it became a table. It was not always a table, and it will not always be table. One day it will break. His name and form, they are temporary. There is nothing in name and form. What is there in the name? Even they say, what is in the name? Nothing.
But the tableness existed before the table. I mean, it's this archetypal idea that there was something that is tableness, the idea, the concept of a table existed before the physical table,
and
will continue to exist after the table is gone.
That is also temporary. In Vivartavad, from Nyaya, in Nyaya, Jati is Nitya. They say Jati is Nitya. But Vivartavad, Jati is not Nitya. Because How can jati stay without the vyakti? When there is pralaya, when there is dissolution, and there are no objects, so where the tableness will hang? Where are the archetypes going to live? Plato said archetype, but where are they?
In God.
No, the God is only Satchidananda. There is no duality in God.
Well, that's in Vivartavad. What about in Achintya Vedaveda?
Now we are talking about Vivartavad Prabhu. Now we have to defend Vivartavad. Because he's saying, give chance to Vivartavad also. I'm surprised that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is being so generous. Usually we are always attacking them, but I don't know, somehow he says that, what did he write? He says, Vasabdena Vivartvadinam Vivartvadena Nirbhed Atma Gyan Siddhiriti Parmatam Cha Darshitam. He says that the philosophy of others has also been shown here by using the word va. Va means or, option. So somehow he seems to be not disturbed by it. He's not like trying to refute. He says, yeah, this is also shown. Although Vivartavad is not accepted by us, because there is no such thing as Vivartavad, and it's not accepted by Bhagavatam's philosophy. Then says Nirastakuhakam Dhamna Svena Sada Nirastakuhakam Satyam Kalandhim. Because for us, Jagat is not mithya. In Vivartavad, the universe, this world is not real, it is mithya. And mithya means neither real nor unreal. Created a third category. So we don't accept that. For us, Jagat is also real, the energy of the Lord. If Lord is real, His energy is real, and it is a manifestation of His energy. It is also real. And that's what he said. He actually showed two types of Nirbhed Brahma Gyan. And that's what I was saying earlier, that this mukti is of different types. So this Brahma Gyan which is described in Bhagavatam is not the same Brahma Gyan which is described by Sankaracharya. Sankaracharya's Brahma Gyan is one type of Brahma Gyan, and that is not accepted by Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam has its own Brahma Gyan. And that Brahma Gyan is part of Bhagavan. Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavan Tishabhati. Brahmavad is accepted in Bhagavatam. Advaitavad is accepted, but it is different than Advaitavad of Sankaracharya. That's why he said that by Va, the Paramatam is also shown, which is interesting that he somehow acknowledges that. Because this Raji Vahi Buddhi, this snake and rope, and this whole explanation is, our understanding is different and Sankaracharya's understanding is different. Sankaracharya says that the snake is neither real nor unreal. Because he says that objects are real, unreal, and not real, not unreal. Three categories he makes. So he says that Brahman is the real thing, because that which stays in past, present and future, which is never lost, is real. That is called Sat. And which does not exist in past, present and future, that is called Asat, unreal. Like the horn of a rabbit. There is no horn of a rabbit. So that is unreal. And then there is a third category which is neither real nor unreal, and that is the universe, or snake in the rope. Because he says that you cannot say that snake is unreal, that it doesn't exist at all because you see it. And you cannot say it is real because it doesn't exist once you throw the light when there is no snake there. So you cannot say that this world is unreal because we are seeing it, we are existing. But it is not real, because when you become Brahman realized, then the world doesn't exist. There is only Brahman. Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. The knower of Brahman becomes Brahman. Neyananasti kinchana. So therefore, this is neither real nor unreal, and that's what is called mithya. So this is Shankaracharya's trick. He pulled it out from his hat and fooled everybody, or at least quite a lot of people, not everybody. But it's quite a trick he played. It's an amazing trick actually. How he interpreted everything and how so many people got really tricked by him.
Babaji, rather than dealing with the rope and looking there, what about the whole concept of humanity? Whether a person is the concept of humanness just
So
exists
Maya.
whether a person acts like a human or not.
It's all Maya.
That too is Maya.
Don't you feel like that? You just think.
Thinking.
It's all Maya.
So
Because anything which changes is not real.
but the concept of humanness is real, isn't that?
What is the concept of humanness? Can you tell me?
Well, looks like it has 2 legs, 2 arms, brain.
Yeah, but who made that concept?
God. All right, no. Like in the image of likeness of God, but man.
But God himself is Maya.
Well, he can be whatever he wants to be.
No, he is also product of Maya. This is what Shankaracharya says. Panchadasi, there is one sloka. He says that Maya Dhenu Vatso, that the cow of Maya has got 2 children. One is Ishvara, another is Jiva. So God is also product of Maya in Shankaracharya's philosophy. So you know this. God is also not the ultimate. He is also produced by Maya. So humanness is also Maya. Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya Jiva Brahmeva Napara. That is the Vartavak. Anyway, don't become confused by this. But you should know the Purva Paksha. Tam Nityam Nitya Muktam. So Lord is Nitya Mukta. He is ever liberated. Yataha Parishuddham. Why? Because he is ever pure. And what is the impurity? Impurity is this desire to enjoy material objects, or to think oneself as independent of God. Tat kutaha yato vishuddham. Why is he pure? Because he is vishuddha. Tattvam satyam pratyuda adibhuta bhakti kamki kalila malana prakriti yasmat. So he is completely pure. And this is a very favorite statement of Advaitvadis, Nitya Suddha Buddha Mukta Atma. You heard of this phrase? Nitya Suddha Buddha Mukta Atma. Very, very, very common phrase of Advaita. And the same is used here, Nitya Mukta Parishuddha Vishuddha Tattva. So we are always Nitya Suddha Mukta. The soul is always pure, always liberated. And pratyudha karma kalila prakriti. But the jiva, he becomes covered by the impurity in the form of karma. So anadi karma, anadi buddha, the karma which has no beginning, it is binding the living being. Prapatti rupya bhaktya vina moksho na bhaved ati bhakter angatvam adhivyanja guna bhavo darshika. So the most important word in this sloka is prapadya, that I take shelter of the Lord. Because without taking shelter of the Lord, it is not possible to become liberated. So if one is not a devotee, one can become Jivan Mukta, but not Atyantika. So there are people who can become Jivan Muktas, but even they cannot become liberated if they don't become surrendered to the Lord. Mameva ye prapadyanti maya mitam karantati. Only those who take prapatti, same word is used there as here prapadya. So this prapad is a very nice word. Pad means foot, right? And prapad means the toe. So only those who hang on to the toe of the Lord, that is the meaning of prapadya, they can be freed from the Maya. Otherwise Maya will not leave you. No matter how much tapasya, austerity you do, how much you meditate on Brahman, how much you think you are Brahman, you can do anything. Maya will not leave, because it will hang around. So therefore he says that prapadya. So I don't know, to me it looks like there is some printing mistake here, because earlier he says bhakter guna abhave api nirbhed brahma jnana siddhya syat. How he can say guna abhave? There has to be guna bhav. That doesn't make sense. That's why he again writes here guna bhava darshita. So the point is that liberation without bhakti is not possible, because if one has to get out of this material world, it is not possible unless one gets the grace from outside the world. If one is inside and one meditates and does not meditate on the Lord, who is the controller of this Maya, then one will still remain inside only, whatever he meditates, because he is going to use the mind to meditate, which is material, and material mind cannot meditate on anything transcendental. So without bhakti, therefore it is not possible. And thus now he comes more clearly. Yat pada pankaj palasa vilasa bhaktya karmashayam gratitam udgrathyanti santaha tadavanya viktamatayo yatiyo piruddha shroto ganastamaranam bhaja vasudevam. So very nice words. So he says that bhaja vasudevam. Therefore you become devotee of Krishna, worship Krishna. Why is that? Because tadvanna rikta matiyo yatiyo piruddha sroto ganastam aranam. That if one does not surrender to the Lord, then these yatis, the sannyasis, the renounced people, ruddha sroto gana, who control their senses, they cannot grathitam udgrathyanti karmasam. They cannot become free from the knot in the heart in the form of karma, karmasaya. Why? Because rikta mataya, because their brains are empty. Because there's nothing. That is vipassana. Right? Vipassana, you make your brain empty. So they're called Riktamati. That there's nothing in the head. That's what neti means, not this, not this. So you try to remove everything from your head, make it completely blank. Then what? Still the knot in the heart remains. So how you get rid of this knot? He says, Yat pada pankaja palasa vilasa bhaktya. Such nice word. So Lord's feet, which are like lotus flower, and palas means the leaves, and vilas means the glow. So the glow of the feet of the Lord, that will dispel the karmashaya, this ignorance in the heart. Yat pada pankaja palasa vilasa bhaktya karmashayam grathitam udgratham enti santa. The santa, the saintly people, the devotees, they cut this knot, this Gordon's knot, by the devotion to Lord's feet. And he says that these yatis, they cannot do that. Tadunna vikkamatayo yatayo apishoto ganastam arnam. So he said that you take shelter of him and worship him. तदेव सा श्रद्धया इत्यादिना भक्ते प्राधान्य ज्ञान मिश्रा भक्ति असाध्यां मुक्ति सहितां शांतिरति मुक्त्वा तत्व नरेंद्र इति श्लोक द्वयेन भक्ति मिश्र ज्ञान साध्यां सायुज्य मुक्तिं च दर्शित्वा तमवेहि स्वस्मीति पदैस्तस्य शुद्ध दास्य भक्ते एक स्पृहस्य तत्र अरुचिम अभिप्रेत्य भक्तेः कैवल्ये शुद्ध भक्त्या तदभीष्ट्या साध्यं प्रेमाणाम् अनुसमिकं मुक्तिकं वदंस्तामेव भक्तिं सर्वथोत्कर्षयति यत्पादेति द्वाभ्याम्. So in the next two slokas, Sanat Kumara, he is now showing the supremacy of bhakti. That bhakti which he has described earlier in verse 22, where he said that Sasradhya Bhagavad Dharmarchya. He spoke those 4 verses and gave various activities of devotion, of hearing, chanting, worshipping, and so on. So that was sadhana bhakti. Bhakti pradhanya, that he showed the supremacy of bhakti. And Gyan Mishriya Bhaktya Sadhyam Mukti Sahitam Shantrati Muktva Tattvam Narendra. And then he spoke about Gyan Mishra Bhakti in this verse Tattvam Narendra, in verse 37 and 38. So Bhakti Mishra Gyan Sadhyam Sahaja Muktim Cha Darshitva. And then he also showed Sahaja Mukti. So there is Gyan Mishra Bhakti and
Ja, Ismail, Krishna.
all this is illusion left.
What happened?
Sadvatam Savadutam Varijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shakhanita He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusuri Devi Pranamami Aditye Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayine Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauradvishe Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama
I don't know, they all should have seen. He put the plate in the oven and he should have known that. He should have seen that there was something in the oven.
Let's look. What was there in the oven?
Potatoes. And they
But he put
fine.
the potatoes in.
Because he put it in the oven and I don't know why. Maybe it was sick. Either there was a short circuit. No, there was a basket on top of that. You know? Kama puts always a basket. And that basket caught fire because of the heat. So it was burning.
The story of Janaka Rishi. Janaka Rishi, when there was, you know the story of Janaka Rishi, there was a fire, everybody went running for the fire.